Let us know where you are streaming from. Come on in. Come on in. You are glistening, Chica. You
Thank
are
you.
glistening. Oh, Jesus. I made a good decision. I made a good investment. I made a good investment. Ta-ta-ta-ta-ta.
How is everyone doing this evening? Let us know as you're coming in where you're streaming from this
Let us know
evening.
where you're streaming from. Come on in. Come on in. I need to get a haircut.
Happy
Tighten
Friday,
this up.
everyone. I think you look good,
Hey,
babe.
praise the Lord. These jokers creeping on me, y'all. These jokers creeping on me. My brother Ja, what's up, brother? Let me know if I
Hello,
get knocked out tonight,
hello.
okay? Let me know if I get knocked out tonight. I know you're gonna tell me.
No blows. No
Okay.
planned blows.
Let's see how that goes. What's up, Ken? God bless you, sir. Dorothy, what's up, my lady?
Hello, hello.
Hello, hello. Come on in.
Thank
Come
you
on
all so
in.
much for coming in and joining us this evening.
Yes, we're gonna have a great time. We have a great time. Thank you, Brother John. You got my back. I appreciate it. I appreciate you having my back. Mrs. Terry, what's up? Tell John I said, what's up?
Hello, hello.
Always, always a pleasure. Always a pleasure. All right, all right. Get another 30 seconds. We're going to roll.
All right.
Good night, everybody.
Oh, we got Riverview in the house?
Yeah, Tina, what's up? What's up? What's up? Been raining a lot, huh?
It has.
It's a good thing for the grass.
It is.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's grass will be nice and green.
Mm-hmm.
And good sleep.
Yes. All right. Please share. If you have not shared, please share. We're going to have a good time tonight. Please share. Please share. All right. My name is Jomo.
I'm Charmaine.
We come together Friday nights and we have real, raw, and relevant conversation in regards to relationships.
Yes.
And every Friday night, we have often a time where we talk about what's going on in our personal life.
Thank you so much, Dorothy.
Yeah. It was called Cousins Chronicles.
Yes.
So my wife was in the process of doing some business, trying to handle some business or monthly things that she has to do every month for our business.
Right.
And so she was working on today, and I went there just to holler at her. And she said, babe, do you see how good my flowers look? I said, okay, whatever. She said, the flowers you bought me. And I was trying to ask myself what flowers I bought her.
Well, the thing is,
you can tell the story, sweetie.
Right. I was having a rough time. And let me just give you a backstory.
Mm-hmm.
At the very beginning of our relationship, I really didn't value flowers. Like I would tell him, you don't really have to buy me flowers. I don't really, I'm not a flower girl.
Mm-hmm.
And then now 20 plus years later, I'm like, I really like flowers. But I did tell him that I've kind of changed my mind about flowers when I did change my mind about flowers. But I was having an issue.
But you did tell me though.
Right, I did tell you.
But I learned after you start doing flowers. Kind of like Eli. I said, babe, you like to change? Like, yeah, I've changed. But it's all good. Continue.
Okay. So I had some flowers delivered to the house for myself. I've been seeing these flowers on like Facebook and Instagram platforms and just like commercials. Like when you look at something, you click on something, then it starts coming up into your feed.
Yeah, I know.
All the time.
Mm-hmm.
So these flowers that are supposed to last like a year, I'm sure all of you guys have seen them. They come in a box and you just see the roses or whatever. It's supposed to last a year. I think it's supposed to last 9 months to a year, something like that. So anyway, I bought them and a year and a half later, they are still sitting on our table and they still look really good. So I was looking at them when he was spending some time with me in the office and I was thinking, dog, these flowers, they can't be real. But everybody that comes in the house, they see the flowers right at the door. And they're like, they're real, but how are they lasting this long? It's so beautiful. And I was just thinking, it's so nice of you to buy them for me, even though I kind of bought them for myself. But how many of you all have ever bought something for yourself? Like, hey, I deserve it. I'm going to buy something for myself to make myself feel special.
I want y'all to understand what happened here. I don't think y'all understand. Let me explain. I saw flowers being delivered to my house, to my wife, and I'm asking her who was sending her flowers, and she says you.
And I would write notes to myself too,
and
like encouraging words to myself, like Charmaine, you are doing a great job. You go, girl. God is on your side. You are more than a conqueror through Christ Jesus. You have already received the victory. Have a great day. I love you, Charmaine.
So I'm reading this. I'm like, who's doing this? She said, you are. I said, no, it's a Jedi mind trick. So I had to say, wait a second. Something has changed because see, now you are sending flowers to yourself, right? Know yourself. Have I done something wrong? No, my point is,
Yeah.
as a man, you try to figure out, okay, first off, why are flowers coming to my house with all these, like, sweet things, and they're addressed by me, and I didn't do it? So I'm trying to figure out, are you all right? Do you do what? Am I missing something? And so I said, you've changed. You're a flower girl. And then once I realized she's a flower girl, I became a flower boy. Meaning, you have to adjust to. The Bible says, deal with them according to knowledge. Meaning, once I see a shift with her, I can flow with her.
Right.
If you're on a motorcycle, which I don't ride, but if you were on a motorcycle and you lean to the left, you got to lean with them. They lean to the right, you got to lean with them. So I realized that she shifted in reference, and if you've been married long enough, people going to shift on you. Okay. Yeah. And
because we evolve and change.
We evolve and change. And at a certain point in time, women have a shift.
Right.
A for real shift.
And men have shifts too.
And men have shifts too, but they different shifting. But anyway, you have to be able to adjust to the shift.
God. I'm sorry.
Sorry, what are you sorry about, baby?
Those are the ducks in the background, you guys. I don't even know why they started quacking all of a sudden.
We are raising ducks. I'm gonna leave that alone. They are
so cute. One of them has an afro, y'all. I'm gonna have to do a YouTube video on that.
No, you don't.
Anyway.
All right.
So cute.
I want to ask y'all a question. What things has your spouse purchased and you don't know nothing about? And then months, weeks, years later, you find out, oh yeah, I bought that. Now I want to help y'all. Okay. If anybody wants to put in the chat right now, write it down in the chat. What are some things your spouse has purchased
that you didn't know about?
That you didn't know nothing about. And they'll put it on, wear it, ride it, and talk about, oh, I've been had this. Lies they tell. Been had this. You ain't been had this.
No, you could have had something for a while. Like the question that most husbands will ask is, did you just get that? And if you didn't just purchase it, like if you purchased it 6 months ago, that's not just purchasing something. That's just wearing it. You're just wearing it, but you didn't just purchase it. You've had it for a while.
You see that? You see that crap?
That is not a lie.
Do you see that crap right there?
That is the truth.
Lord Jesus.
I mean, that's just like if you had a tool in the garage, you never used it, but you had it for a year or two. You just didn't have a purpose for it yet.
So now you're going to talk about tools.
Did you just buy the tool, or are you just using the tool?
Lord have mercy. Huh? Okay, let me help you out. 3 reasons. This is for a marriage or relationship.
Okay.
3 things we should do if we're about to purchase something that you're questionable about. Okay.
Right.
Number 1, do we need a credit check? If we need a credit check,
that's a conversation.
There should be a revelation. There should be a conversation. Okay. So if there is a credit check, there should be a conversation.
Right.
Okay. So number 1, credit check means conversation.
Right. You're not buying a car and then come home talking about, guess what, babe?
So credit check. Number 2, down payment. Yeah.
Down payment.
If you need a down payment, there's gonna be a conversation.
Right.
Okay. If you need credit check or down payment, there needs to be a conversation. Okay. Right. And number 3, will I be liable for this poor decision you're about to make or good decision? Okay. So number 1, credit check. Number 2, down payment. Number 3, am I liable for what you're about to do?
And you have to establish too in your relationship, what is the breaking point number? What is the number that if you get to this number and you're going above this number, then there needs to be a conversation before the purchase happens.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about flowers, but I'm talking about like big purchases.
Yeah.
Or for some people's relationship, your relationship may be at a point where you're really tight on funds and you're trying to, work towards something. And, you're on a tight budget. If you're on a tight budget and every penny counts, then, I mean, it may not even be a breaking point. It may be every purchase you make. Let's talk about it first so we can decide whether we...
Some of y'all are them sneaker shoppers. You be sneaking stuff in with bags. I know I see y'all sneaking stuff in late at night. Creeping in. Knowing you creeping. So shame of yourself. You got to creep. Be bold with it. Bring all your bags in. Let everybody see it. Don't be trying to hide your stuff. Secret shoppers.
How many men and women that are listening to us right now, how many of you all have snuck a purchase? I mean, just even if it's just one time, how many of you all?
Raise both your hands, Charmaine. Raise both your hands, Charmaine. You are a sneaker purchaser. You be sneaking. I talk about everything. You know, I'm thinking about buying this. What you think? I'm thinking about buying this. What you think?
Because when Jomo buys something, it's like a car or like a $10,000 item. I'm not gonna talk about no $50 shoes.
I see you, Tina. Thank you. Thank you for your confession, sister. Ashley, you won't be set free tonight.
Not, to me, it's not, you know, I'm not sneaking. I'm just buying it. Like, I'm not like.
Well, you don't communicate.
No, but do you want me to communicate every time I buy something?
No, we would be
talking
for example, buying all the time.
Jomo went to the door today and got Amazon bags.
Every day we see
and
Amazon.
He was like, "Oh, I know this is you. I know this is you." I said, "Open it up."
I know that you are the purchaser of them.
What was it?
They were shoes for my daughter.
Yes, they were shoes for Jemiah because all of her shoes are.
I think that was like a decoy. That was a decoy.
Oh, a decoy. You think I knew when the bags were going to come to the door?
Amazon tell you when they're coming.
I didn't know when the bags were coming to the door.
You know what? Tonight, we're going to be talking about.
I buy everything.
You buy
underwear, undershirts, shoes, socks.
You don't buy all of them.
I buy a lot.
I'm not gonna say
you buy most of your clothes.
And some underwear.
You know, and we used to shop together. Like you used to include me when you would go shopping, but now
what? You don't include me?
What are you talking about?
Which one you go shopping?
I shop online.
But you don't
include. This brother goes on shopping sprees. It's different.
You don't shop with me either.
And then if he sees something nice that he likes for me, he'll call me and be like, "Let me take a picture of it for you." Well, why am I not with you?
Well, I'm taking a picture because I want to involve you in the process.
I'm trying to involve. Taking me, brother. Hey, Charmaine, get dressed. You better go shopping.
I don't know if I'm gonna find something. So why?
You don't have to find. I just want to be with you, baby.
Oh, la ta la ta ta ta.
I just want to be with you. I just want to spend time with my baby while he spend his money shopping for himself.
I only go shopping like once a year.
Well, can you go shopping twice this year? We can go together. How about that? It could be a date.
All right, sweetie. Tonight.
Communicate to you.
Okay, we'll go shopping together. Okay.
And I'll tape it, y'all.
All right, tonight we're going to talk about 10 thought processes that can destroy your relationship. 10 thought processes that can destroy your relationship. The number one is jumping to conclusions. I don't know if you've ever done this, but oftentimes we jump to conclusions or we think that we're mind readers. And I have flunked at this so often. I remember one time, and it happens still now sometimes. You know, we have like certain things we do that are like uniform. Okay, like so if we're going to get intimate, we lock the door. Okay, that's what we do. You know, most of us grown folk that have kids, you have to lock the door. Now we got locked door.
You don't lock the door and you have kids.
Oh. So
that's a whole nother show.
Yeah, a whole bunch. So we lock the door and sometimes we have to close blinds, a whole bunch of stuff we got to do, right?
Right, it's a process.
It's a process. So some nights when she locked the door, my mind goes, oh. So I'm expecting that I'm gonna have some loving, and then she come and just go to sleep. I said, dang, I read that one wrong. Or you know, they don't make you plate of dinner, and you think, man, I don't know what I did this time. And my point is, you start to you start to think you know what they think, and let me help you. We don't.
I think this is across the board. Men and women can jump to conclusions.
Jump to all kind of conclusions. And you think y'all
and you just think you know it. You know that you know. Well, he always does this, and today he did that, and that must mean
something wrong.
And
we put ourselves in a very negative space when we jump to conclusions versus just asking. And I know, because if you're with a person for a certain amount of time, you start to believe that you know them, and you think you do. And for the most part, we have a good understanding, but yet we will make the mistake to jump to conclusions. So that's number one, jump to conclusions. Number two, you overanalyze everything. Oh my gosh. How often are you going to replay this? It's over with. Right. Let it go.
You know, he said that. You know, I never talked about when he said, because he said that way you do things. Sorry.
Lord, geez.
Seriously?
Here's what you need to do, okay? Something happened. It was negative.
Okay.
Okay. Have a funeral for it. Okay. Go in the backyard. Okay. Write you a good note. Put in the box. Bury that thing. Okay. Now don't exhume the body. Don't do an autopsy. What you need to do is say, okay, this happened. What was my involvement in this?
Mm-hmm.
What could I do better?
Right.
Who was the contributing factor in me doing this event?
Mm-hmm.
How did my spouse connect to the event? Learn from it and move on.
Yeah.
But so many times we spend our time over analyzing a defeat. You
Right.
lost. You know, a lot of teams during the Super Bowl, when they lose, you know what they do? They burn the tape. I ain't gonna learn nothing from that. Now, I'm not saying to burn your tape. I'm saying learn and move on.
Right. I think when we're in heated fellowship,
Mm.
emotions, being overly emotional will allow you to overanalyze like conversations, body language,
And we're
across the
terrible at
board.
it.
Right.
I mean,
Because during emotional times in your relationship, people can go out of the norm or out of character, and you're over analyzing them at the worst time because they're not themselves. They're not the norm. You're not the norm. And you are holding something against them that they wouldn't have normally done under normal circumstances.
True that.
So,
all right, number 3, all or nothing. You never, you always. Every situation is a total failure. Everything is bad. Everything's the worst. Always.
It can't be never, always, everything. And sometimes it's very easy to, when you're communicating, to use those words because it over dramatizes the situation to make it seem like it's worse than what it really is. A lot of relationships, you wouldn't be, let's just keep it real, you wouldn't even be in the relationship if every area of the relationship was bad.
Correct.
So
that's my point.
It's very important when you're in a relationship that you compartmentalize different parts of your relationship so you don't allow things that are bad in one circumstance
to bleed,
like bleed over into other situations.
Yeah.
So if your communication is not so great, but your intimacy is wonderful, what other part of your relationship? If your communication could be bad in certain areas.
Your the kids' relationship is good. Your
relationship with your kids
are
provider.
good.
You're provider. You're thoughtful. You're romantic. Other areas of your relationship are good. Don't allow the whole relationship to go in the garbage because the one part of just work on that one part, but don't shut down everything else. A lot of people use the parts that are good as punishment for the parts that are bad. Horrible. And then it really makes the whole relationship. So like, let's say, for example, your communication is great, but he did something wrong or she did something wrong. And then you stop talking to them for a week.
That's smart.
So how are you solving the problem by crushing something that's really good in your relationship to discipline your spouse in another area of the relationship?
Well, how adults do the silent treatment?
Because it's like a punishment.
But if you're an adult, I understand little kids do silent treatment.
Like, I'm not going to talk to you.
But how do adults?
Because it doesn't make you feel better. It doesn't solve the problem.
I just don't.
What does it do?
I don't understand how adults do the silent treatment, but I know it happens.
Right.
One of the things that Charmaine said that's really poignant to me is how I felt. And what I mean by that, as a personal feeling, when a person tells me always and never, my first thought is, why are you with me? Now, I'm just saying, in my mind, it's like, okay, if I'm always this person or I never do this, and why are you here? Which is, my point is, you go from one extreme to another extreme. So I'm saying, you say never, then the person goes to another extreme. So now you're spiraling out. Got it? So if a person says, you never do this and you never do that, then you think, okay, if I never do none of this, why are you here? Why are you with me if I don't do those things? So then the person can receive it wrong, and now they go to the other extreme. So you go to one extreme, they go to another extreme. The bottom line is you're getting further and further apart,
Right.
Because of poor communication.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
All right. Number 4.
Magnify and minimize. Anybody, have you ever seen the binoculars? When you look at the small side, it brings things closer to you. If you flip it around, it does the opposite. You have to be mindful not to be a magnetizer, a magnifier, and a minimizer, meaning you magnify the bad things and you minimize the good things. Okay? They give you a compliment. Oh, I ain't that.
Oh, it's just
And
just X, Y, Z.
correct. And you have to be mindful that some people, all they know how to do is magnify what's wrong.
Right.
And when you try to do something right, she's supposed to do that.
You know, what's a really good exercise in order to kind of practice not doing that is to write down all of the positive things that have happened to you in any particular day. So sometimes we think, oh man, this day was the worst. You know, I just want tomorrow to come because this day was like horrible. But if you say that, you speak it, you give those words power, you're not thinking about anything positive. I got to work safe.
Mm-hmm.
I drove from home to work and from work back home safely. I was able to cook a good meal for my family and my children got their homework done. You know, work may have been stressful, but you know, nobody quit today and my team survived another day of sales or whatever type of work you do. I still have a job. So, you know, God can do anything. You know, just being positive and using those words of affirmation to yourself. Like a lot of times we think, oh, give other people words of affirmation, give other people words of encouragement. But sometimes we need to do it to ourselves. Write down the positive things because it's so easy to point out the negative things. It's so easy for you to say, you know, what was the worst time in your life? You'll be able to think of it like that. But if you say, what's the best time in your life? Everyone has to think about it for 5 minutes. And it's not because you haven't had multiple good things, but you're trying to think what's the best thing. But, oh, you know what the worst thing was right off the top of your head. Correct. So it's like we just need to be more cognizant of the fact that sometimes we beat ourselves up and it's not necessary. Sometimes we have to magnify the positive in our lives so we're not constantly focused on the negative. And it'll bleed over into your relationship
and you have to be mindful that when you speak negativity, it actually rewires your brain for failure.
Because you're speaking those words in the atmosphere.
Correct. You reap what you sow.
Right.
All right. Next one. Number 5. It's very simple. Obsessing over the negative. I don't know of you, but have you had a person who picks that? For example, we have a canvas, okay? It's a blank white canvas, and a person put a marker on it, a dot on it. And he asks the person, what do you see? And they say, I see the dot.
And it's the smallest thing on
and it's the smallest thing on the canvas. And so many of us focus our eyes on the dot versus the canvas. The dot is there. There's a lot of other things that are good. So you have to be mindful, where am I going to obsess on? Yes, things are not perfect. Things are not always right. But I'm going to focus on the positives.
Right.
And understand, I mean, I was talking to one of my young proteges today, had a good conversation, and I was just talking to him about how even in my life, there's some things in my life that I don't like. You know, there's some seasons in my family right now that I don't like. But even in that, I still thank God for where we are, and I focus on the positives.
That's good.
Because if you focus on the negatives, you'll be depressed. Depression is caused by constantly thinking about things you can't control.
Right.
So if I can't control it, I got to give it to God. All right. Number 6.
Number 6, comparing your spouse with someone else.
Oh, Lord.
Man, you know, such and such husband always opened the door for her. Such and such husband always pulls out her chair when we go to dinner. Such and such husband wash the dishes after she finished cooking dinner.
Man, she be doing the nasty all the time.
Everything.
Oh, yeah. I mean, why don't you do that?
I don't think it's terrible to look at someone else's relationship and be able to say, you know, I would really like to try to incorporate that into my relationship because I think it's a positive thing. But it's a difference between doing that and saying, oh man, I wish you were like that person, because your spouse is not the other person's spouse. And the things that they're dealing with behind closed doors are not the things you're dealing with behind closed doors. Nobody's relationship is perfect. So you don't want to like nitpick one great thing that you see in their relationship and think that their relationship is just bomb. And, you need to now try to incorporate all the things that they do in their relationship so you can have a relationship like theirs. You'll never have a relationship like anybody else because the two people that they are and the two people that you and your spouse are totally different people. It's a totally different. It's just like mixing. If you're doing a chocolate cake, and then
you talking about cake right now?
Yeah. During the fast, if you do a chocolate cake and one couple's a chocolate cake and one couple's a vanilla cake,
I was a cake.
You are never going to be the chocolate cake because you don't have the same ingredients as a chocolate cake.
Oh, that's good.
Then you have as a vanilla cake or a lemon cake or a pound cake. It's not the same ingredients. Be your cake.
Mm-hmm.
Be your cake. Don't try to be someone else's.
I like your sweet cakes.
You might get some sweet cakes.
Ah, yes, Lord. Number 7.
Number 7.
It's their fault.
All the time.
All the time. You are not a part of it. It's all their fault.
Do you think these are people that don't like to apologize though?
Of course. They blame everything someone else's fault, but you married the person. That was your decision. Right. So that's your fault too now.
And you deflect.
And it's always someone else's fault. That's a horrible mindset.
Yeah.
You have to understand to take ownership.
Right.
Even in leadership, I always say, okay, now what did I do wrong to cause this problem?
Right.
How am I responsible? That's the only way you can get better is to truly analyze yourself.
Right.
Stop pushing every problem on everybody. If everybody tells you got a problem, you probably got the problem. Right. Guess what? It's you, boo. It's you.
One thing that I truly admire about Jomo and his leadership skills at home and at the church is the fact that he will always say, what could I have done better? Even when I'm thinking, you couldn't have done anything better. But he's always, as a leader, always thinking, what could I have done better to foster a better environment for this not to have happened? Or what could I have done to maybe communicate better? Or, it might have been somebody else's fault. But as the head of household, even at home, he's always thinking, okay, did I somehow facilitate this environment where it's okay for this to happen? Or it's okay for you to feel like, XYZ or to say this to me. And I so admire that. Sometimes he says it so much so that I'm like, no, it has nothing to do with you. It's me. Both of us are going back and forth like, no, it's me. No, it's me. No, it's me. I could do this better. Well, I could do that better. And it's great to be able to humble yourself, make yourself vulnerable enough to say, I'm sorry, for one, and to talk about how you could work on whatever the situation is not happening again. So
you should always try to have some now ons and some never agains.
I like that.
From now on, we're going to do this.
Right.
And never again are we going to do that.
Right.
If not, you will continue to repeat a cycle. If something is not working, fix and move on. Right. But don't repeat a cycle and expect something different. If you always do what you've always done, you'll always get what you've always gotten. Change begins with you. Right. You are the only person you can change. So that's why when things go wrong, I always ask myself, Jomo, what could you have done different? Because I'm only responsible for me. True that?
Love that.
Number 8, they don't love me anymore. Oftentimes when a person says they don't love me anymore, hey, do you love me? Do you love me? Do you love me? Do you love me? Please, I said I love you. And what happens, it gets so dang annoying because you have lost your confidence in yourself. So now you're looking for validations. And if a person doesn't text you back in 5 seconds, I don't know what they're doing. What are they doing? Man, they're in the bathroom. They wiping their butt, man. They can't.
I remember we were at a conference. It was Dr. Mike and Dee Dee Freeman conference, and Dr. Dee Dee said, which I always remembered. She said, just because he says he loves me doesn't mean that I should then reciprocate I love him if I'm not feeling that.
Mm.
Don't, say I love you to someone for them to just say I love you back. If you want to hear I love you, just ask them, versus trying to, say something to get them to say something to make you feel good about yourself. Do you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
so a lot of couples do that. Like, you'll say, did you like dinner? And you're looking for a compliment, but instead of just saying, asking, saying, I really wanted you to compliment the dinner, but, instead of trying to prompt a response, just ask directly instead of trying to, because if they say I love you and then you say thank you, are they going to be offended?
Yeah, people are. Well, I said I loved you, and he didn't say he loved me back. I wonder if he loves me. He must not love me anymore because he didn't say he loved me. And man, if you don't breathe.
I mean, and we do it a lot, even in business. And if you don't get the proper prompt response, you think something's wrong. And sometimes it's nothing wrong. They're just not, reciprocating what you want.
Correct. Number 9, I wish you could, you would. I wish.
I'm wishing on a star to follow where you are.
Sing that, girl. Sing it. You sing good.
I'm wishing on a dream.
Go ahead, girl. Go ahead. I like it. You can't.
So you wish.
You spend your time wishing and wishing and wishing. You better start working. Stop wishing and start working. Work it. Work. Meaning, you have to come from the faith without works is dead.
Oh, that's good.
So you have to get out of the wishing season and get into the working season.
That's good.
Work on your relationship. Work on stop wishing it's going to be better. It's not going to get better. Wishing, you ain't better. Wishing. This is not, you ain't
better pray it better.
Yeah, this is not Buddha. You ain't rubbing no belly and the genie come out. Is that, I don't know. Whatever. We have to work. We don't wish. And last, number 10, what happened to us? I mean, what happened to us?
You're looking in the past.
What happened to us? What happened? What happened? And you spend all your time talking about what happened to us.
We used to be able to do this, and we used to do that, and you used to do this, and I used to do that.
I don't do that no more.
And you used to look like this, and I used to look like
that. Yeah. Let's talk about that. You know what I'm saying? You used to be able to flip and do this, and you don't do that no more.
You used to.
You used to.
What happened? Can we live in the present Jesus. Right now, please?
Remember when you used to take me out? Remember when you used to take me out? Remember when you used to take me out? Remember when you used to take me out?
Well, why am I not? He didn't enjoy taking you out because he don't do it no more. You better start taking your wife out.
We have to be mindful to work on our thought processes.
That's good.
If not, you can actually undermine what God is trying to do in your relationship or what you're trying to work on in the relationship. That you have to think positively. Now you have to put the work in with words and wisdom and insight, but you have to make sure that thinking
right
as a person thinks, so are they. And for you to be successful in your relationship, you have to renew your mind, transform your mind.
That's good.
And oftentimes we struggle with the transformation of a single mind to a married mind. All right, family.
We love you.
We love you to life. Remember
Thank you so much for spending Friday nights with us.
Subscribe to the YouTube page, Jomo and Charmaine. Yes. I believe my wife is over 900 subscribers now.
Yes.
And she has to get to 1,000. And she needs to get to 1,000 because I said so. So if you have not subscribed to Jomo and Charmaine, please do. This is her baby. And I want to make the baby grow. Amen.
Amen.
We love you. Remember this. Love, laugh, and learn. If you ever want to ask questions, you can
You can reach out to us via my Instagram at Charmaine_cousins, or you go to our YouTube channel and email us directly through the YouTube channel.
Deuce. Have a wonderful night. God bless you all.